Thank you for staying with us. This morning, we are still looking at the case of suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and the choice of the Senate, the decision of the Senate to uphold her suspension even after the 6 months has elapsed. And we are still speaking with legal practitioners in the House. We have Barrister Dapo Ogunwusi joining us via Zoom. We also have Barrister Chetam Nwala also joining us virtually. And we have Barrister Moses Obaditan right here with us in the studios. Let me come over to you, Barrister Ogunwusi. Barrister Ogunwusi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. At this point, Barrister Ogunwusi, what can the judiciary do to intervene and check the powers of the Senate? Okay, because it seems as though the Senate is acting the way they wish. Recall, Barrister Ogunwusi, that the Senate President himself, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, actually wrote a letter to the court telling them that the judiciary has no business in this matter. At some point, he wrote that letter telling them that this matter is an internal affairs matter of the Senate, that the judiciary has no right to interfere. My question is this: how can the judiciary intervene when it comes to checking the powers of the Senate? Because it seems as though the Senate is acting in breach of the law.
Yeah, you see, even when the judiciary makes a law, I mean, when the legislature makes a law, and that law is signed into force by the executive, the judiciary can still strike it down on the ground of incompatibility with the rules of natural justice or provisions of the Constitution, which are transcendentally superior to any subsidiary legislation. So the argument by Akpabio is completely self-serving, and is an argument that should not be made by a lawyer, because it is known that the judiciary should be the last hope of the common man. Now come to the particular situation we are talking about, where the judiciary is fit for purpose. That is not the impression of the Nigerian populace at this moment. When somebody does the most heinous things and then tells you to go to court, I mean, it is so clear that the court is an accomplice. And that is what I want their lordships to rise up to and challenge and change. I mean, they cannot be like the napkins of the executive. Whatever nonsense they do, look at the presidential election petition. I say that all the time. There were 12 judges at the Court of Appeal and at the Supreme Court, and the entire country was divided. Legal opinion was divided, political opinion was divided, the man on the streets was divided. The only organization that was not divided were those 12 judges. Look, it is a shock that there could be 12 Nigerians at that time without anybody dissenting. And I believe the judiciary can do better than they are doing at the moment. You keep adjourning a case when you know that it is about a 6-month suspension. Yeah, they can go and award damages or anything at the end of the day. It's possible. But the truth of the matter is that the real kernel of the case would have been spent. It's no longer effective because you have adjourned it out of focus, out of relevance. There is something in law that is called, it's a kind of application that you can make for expedited hearing. It's a kind of motion to accelerate hearing on the basis of the loss or the possibility of certain losses that could not be repaired. I think this is one good case that the judiciary should have looked with that kind of dispatch. Look, this case should not go beyond even the dependency of the suspension itself.
Barrister Ogunwusi, now that the damage has been done already, what can the judiciary do to check the powers of the Senate going forward so we don't have a repeat of such?
The judiciary can always do a lot. Don't let them tell you about the independence of different arms of government. The executive is also an arm of government. Why is it that the courts are full of fundamental rights enforcement cases? So it's just a joke when somebody like Akpabio talks like that. The Senate cannot just stand up and kill one of its members and say that it's Senate rules.
All right.
People sometimes talk in a way, I mean, sometimes you wonder whether some people actually went through law school.
You know,
because
that's why
better ways of even doing some of the things they do.
That's why to make that reckon that most of those critical stakeholders here, Senator Natasha is a lawyer. That's the Senate leader, and he has been so vocal on this matter. He's a lawyer. The accused man himself, you know, from the Senator Natasha Akpoti, that's a man who he accused of sexually advancing or making advancement, you know, advances at her. He's a lawyer as well. But I'll come back to you. Let me go to Barrister Chetam. Now, there is a political dimension to this, you know, Barrister Chetam, where the PDP, that's the party of Senator Natasha, People's Democratic Party, has accused this Senator Akpabio of plot to bar Natasha from the Senate, maybe perpetually. You know, they reacted to the issue yesterday. The PDP said in a statement signed by the National Publicity Secretary, Dapo Ogunwusi, they condemned the report that the clerk of the National Assembly had issued the letter bearing Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan from resuming her duties. And they said he's denying the Kogi Central people a voice at the highest making body in the country, and is making an attempt to use the National Assembly establishment against an elected senator, and is highly provocative and constitutes a direct assault on the rule of law and democratic governance. It also comes as part of the antics being deployed severally by the APC-controlled Senate and the federal government to suffocate the opposition, which further confirms the creeping totalitarianism in our country under the APC government. That's the position of the PDP on this matter. Barrister Chetam, what do you say to that? That maybe there is a political undercurrent, and maybe it's tagged with having, you know, the APC controlling the Senate. So whatever means, just get those opposition guys out. Is that how you silence them, suspend them, win them over? Or you think it has nothing to do with politics? It's just the big guys doing big things in a very small way.
The point is, you know, I have held my opinion severally about the PDP. PDP is a weak political party that does not have balls to determine or to do anything. They are not an opposition political party. Right now, they seem to be an appendage of the APC and the present administration, having been weakened by the likes of Yesowika and the rest of them in the political party. Right now, what they do and what they're doing is just to issue statements, let it look as if they're still existing. We all know that they have not taken practical steps on the issue and all that. But in all of this, in all of these things happening, I must tell you that the judiciary has failed Nigerians, and the judiciary has continued to fail Nigerians. Let me tell you, matters of this magnitude, the judiciary is supposed to step up and take certain position in the best interest of the country, in the best interest of the people. But what have we seen? We have seen a judiciary who has chosen to be on the side of the oppressor rather than the side of the oppressed, who has chosen to be on the side of injustice rather than the side of justice, because the continuous silence on critical matters, issues that affect our national lives in this country, the continuous silence of the judiciary and the prolonging of these matters has affected this nation adversely. Let me tell you, you know, recently I had also raised up the issue of how the matters filed by the PDP governors on the state of emergency declared in Rivers State, judiciary, the Supreme Court has remained silent on that matter till today. Till today, nothing has been done. Matters brought before the courts with respect to with respect to the state of emergency and other issues that had to do with the Rivers State issues, are still, as I speak to you, are still before the courts, and the court has not taken any practical steps.
Barrister Chetam, if I may cut in, do you think this is intentional from the judiciary, or is just coincidental?
Yes, it is. Let me tell you.
Hold on, sir. Wouldn't this be like you are casting?
Our judiciary has been infiltrated.
Wouldn't this be like you are casting aspersion on the judiciary?
Tell me why the judiciary is silent. Why is the judiciary silent? It shows clearly that the judiciary has been clearly infiltrated. Tell me why our judiciary is silent. Tell me why there are no accelerated hearings to these matters of national importance. Why is the judiciary quiet about it? It is because even people who are supposed to speak about it and speak up for the judiciary to do the proper thing have also decided to be quiet.
And I can even give a paper to read on it. It was written by one of our celebrated lawyers just a few days ago. And so he was taking some money to the extent that she has an edifice, a big building in Zambia. So the successor to Shiluba came. And then he saw the involvement of the Chief Justice in corruption. Before the man can say, he quickly resigned. And so they went into it. Why is it? So, and when they have given this one, and then whenever there's a case.
That should be official vehicles. Is that bad?
It's not supposed to be that like that. There's provision. There's budget for the judicial ministry.
So these are extra budgetary spending.
Spending, which once they load them there. Now, let me give you, if you want to debunk me. Around 1990, the president, the military president, Ibrahim Babangida was in power. So, and he has a case with a certain group. And then most of the judges involved were given Salon Pidgin 505 that time. And Concord newspaper and Concord magazine went to business. Flash the story that they are learning the justice with this new car. And Babangida tried and closed down Concord. Google that story I'm telling you about. These are the way by which most of the judicial arms, and that's number one. Number two, the recruitment of judges. If you remember, Ariwo Dola, while he was in charge, recruited his daughter-in-law, friends, associates, and when you put them there, even the Kekereekun, who is supposed to be there now, even though he's qualified, he has been very fair, but then he has been part how he has helped the present president at a point in time, judiciary, which is normal. But we are saying that can Kekereekun, in time like this, looking at the situation and then possibly come directly to the president and say, this is what the Senate are doing. Why don't you do this one? She has the right to do it. Why is she not doing it? And then we are now saying...
And a CJN advise the president? Is that not why she has the... the president has the
she won't come
Attorney General?
She has a right. She can visit and say, sir, you put me to this place. The rule of law is in trouble. See what is going on in the Senate. Then look at the judge who was talking. The whole country was divided. And all the 12 justices, they said the same thing, which is very rare, very uncommon. So
unanimous decision.
Unanimous decision on the same issue. So what we are saying that to some degree, somebody must prompt. Do you know that Akpabio can be suspended as a lawyer for what he's doing? Yes, they have the right. There are sometimes some Attorney General, when they do something, they say, okay, we'll suspend you. You are not a member of NBA. Nobody's saying that. And in recent time, when the NBA was even saying that the situation in Osun is becoming unbecoming, and they recommend and they are going to talk to this stakeholder, that's beautiful. And if the stakeholder failed and they cannot, they will now go to court.
So if the CJN, you have said the CJN can advise the president, but some will argue with that because these are head of different institutions. But hold on, sir.
Do you know the principle of checks and balances?
Hold on, sir.
That's where it's coming.
All right. Isn't this supposed to be a business of the NJC? And the Judicial Council? Commission, rather.
Is the Chief Justice not involved with the NJC?
That's what I'm saying. She's the head. But I'm saying that's where Milord, all of them meet to talk about issues bordering on the bench.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that where they're supposed to talk about it?
They can, but I'm talking.
If you suddenly see the CJ now, Milord, Kekereekun, at the villa having conversation, wouldn't
it's not
that
going to be in the open. They are quite often that people go in, they say it closed.
Wouldn't that be misconstrued?
Forget what it means is to get results. In law, if you bring somebody for trial, and then you're like, they came to my house, they pulled down my building, they got me in the middle of the night. What matters to the judge is how do they bring those facts before him? And now, if you look at it in the law of the EFCC, they said they broke our door, they do that kind of thing. The law is a bit silent on how. But the only thing that the court will is that you should not put you under pressure. that whatever they are obtaining from you is voluntary.
All right, we understand we have Barrister Ogunwusi back. Can you hear us, sir?
I can hear you, even though it's quite difficult.
What do you say? The other option, since time is so, is an. What do you say? The other option, since time is so, is an evolution. I want to withdraw the case because it's no more relevant. Then the other option is to sue the National Assembly for violating her right to fair hearing, because I was never given fair hearing, and for even keeping her away from the Senate. Because if he's going to take laws into his hand, a lot of damage will be done. Number one, people will be shot at. A lot of arrests will be made, and then the international body, community, will look at Nigeria as another, what they call us, terrorist, nation, and that will not be good.
Senator Natasha herself has gone to one international parliamentary program to report.
That report is
the leadership, and they told her we will hear both ends
because they know there's a limit to Nigeria is a sovereign nation. If you report it, they can decide not to. It's an advisory body. So it is only when maybe the president begins to be killing people, then they now declare the president wanted. And I should not move out of so and so will bring him to ICC, International Criminal Court. But as long as this is a civil issue, we should be able to settle it internally within our own border. But what we should even appeal to those who know the law, which they know the law, do you know they even have legal advisor? Yeah. So they should be able to know that this thing is over.
They know the law, but don't you think they are taking advantage of loopholes in our law, or is it that they are just, outrightly deciding to breach the law?
What I'm saying is that you cannot give what you don't have.
What is it that they don't have?
They do not have
the culture you talked about.
Rule of law. Rule of law. Because most of people in power think they are superior to the law. No one is superior to the law. Then too, I told you political culture, that in a democracy, the majority will have their way, the minority will have their say. The woman has a right under the Constitution to express herself, and then even to ventilate, and then the court to come. And the court that's supposed to has played with time intentionally. Because somebody said this was for 6 months, and I ran to you. I think in the 70s, Chief M.K. Abiola was to be made that titular in Yoruba land. Are Ona Kakanfo. And some people went to court.
Generalissimo.
To restrain the man from, they did it in the night. That's number one. When he was to become, to contest the June 12th election, some people went to court in the dead of the night, restrained them, and the court was able to hear them. Why should it be 6 months? A woman. And it brings us to a factor that in Africa, in Nigeria, there's this word called the misogyny. Assuming Akpabio is a man, would the story be the same?
Akpabio is a man.
Natasha is a man. Will the story be the same? Ndume, 6 months.
That she should wait. Do you think the Senate is becoming a law unto itself?
It's not just becoming, it is one. There used to be a saying, and I'm quoting, I'm not the one that said, they call it the Senate of Scandal. If you look at our budgets, they have already been padding, not to the gallop. You know, there was a project that handled in the East, as to serve as a constituency project. By the time the Senate visited the place, the man had his own name there and was already collecting dues for the usage. What do they do to that money today? So if you look around, you will see Senate committee said the money spent by NNPPCL that they're supposed to pay on the refinery. You just hear no action, nothing is taken. So if you bring all this one together, you'll be asking number one, are there no law? Yeah, there are law. They have no way of bringing them? No. Because this is a country where dogs eat dogs. And so if you are able to get to a level where what we call, you check me, I check you. For example, the Senate or the National Assembly are not operating alone. If they are now doing something controversial, why do you have meetings? Sometimes you see the Senate president visiting the president. So you can call them into a sort of private meeting and say, this is our own party. Because they all belong to the same party. And we believe in the rule of law.
Barrister Obaditan, sorry, you made mention, because we are running home now,
yes,
of if actually Natasha Akpoti, if actually it was supposed to be a man. Okay, I learned Barrister Ogunwusi with so much apologize for those glitches and technical issues. I'll take it as your last take, Pastor Ogunwusi. What will this do to women that are, you know, wanting to be in politics? Because just like the lawyer here said, Natasha has been a man. Will this have lingered on? Because some are saying this is just a clampdown on, you know, vulnerable woman senator, if I may say it that way. Will you see this? What kind of a bearing will he have about women venturing to go into politics? Or is just another senator which hunting a co-senator?
No, it's a complete disincentive to the female gender, because it is very difficult to imagine that women who go into politics now would be shorn of the suspicion from their relations about how chaste they could be in the portals of...
That the society is dynamic and it cannot be stationary, but it's going to be done. And what we are doing, we are simply sensitizing the public. People are listening to us. Yeah. And one day...
Being part of the program today, as we usually say, this is our... Being part of the program today, as we usually say, this is our nation. We don't have any other. And so it must work. It's the Senate today, it's Natasha Akpoti today, it's Akpabio today, but it's not about them, it's about you. It's about this nation and what posterity will record for every human being. Femi Ojo is my name. It's an ongoing conversation. Trust us to be on it. You can have a recap of this program on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television NJ. Emphasis on Western Spring Television NJ. Like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, join us again tomorrow for a fresh edition of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Daniel Emeka is my name. Do have a wonderful day. Good morning.